So, what up? And we gotta go on the first chakra. So, what is the first chakra? The first chakra is basically your identity, like your identity, your sense of self is in the very, 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 very bottom chakra. You know, the chakra that is the foundation of your spine. That's where you have your identity. I know it is somewhat like thought that the identity is in the third chakra, but it is mostly in the first chakra. But through the aid of like the third chakra, it is then expressed, like it can be given expression. But the first chakra is your identity, your sense of self, your sense of self, like your sense of self, and that implies like all your core beliefs, like the foundation that you are. And this foundation can, for example, be like I am strong. I am a warrior. Like many men like have this. I have a warrior. I am strong. I am an Aries. I am a Taurus. I am a Gemini. I am a Christian. I am Muslim. I am black. I am white. But your core identity, your sense of self, is in the first chakra. And everything that has to kind of like do with family kind of like lineage, and kind of like your sense of self, in the very like bottom of your spine, your sense of self, your sense your sense of self. So it is important to to kind of like well, be grounded in one's first chakra. Then the whole like personality is strong, like when the first chakra is strong. So exercises associated with the first chakra is sitting, actually just sitting on a chair, just sitting, the most basic like form of resting, just sitting. Like when you wake up, you sit, and you can sit there for like 10 hours straight, and you're just sitting there. That's the first chakra. Just sitting, and it is your like sense of self, your identity. And now, like your identity is kind of like shaped and influenced through like the whole like chakra, vibrancy, and like rise like experience. Like let us say your identity was like I'm the strongest, like when you were mainly vibrating on like the third chakra. And now, when your first chakra is so strong and your energies are going higher all the way to like the higher chakras, and you're vibrating mainly on them, you become more, your identity is more like I am, like, very beautiful. And that's suddenly your identity. Or your identity goes even higher, that I am this like hero, like it's also an identity. Or I am this now, like it can also you can also like depending on merit and achievements, like your identity, your sense of self, your like first chakra is like strength, and all that, and recognition, and the people around you, your immediate family is associated with the first chakra. It's kind of like your first house in astrology, your first chakra. And it is associated with just like sitting, like sitting, on your ass, sitting. And actually, what is advised not to do for a strong first chakra anal sex, because it's going to to make it hard for you to sit like very long. So it is not advised to do a lot of anal sex. It's hard on the ass for you to be able to like sit long hours. And if you're going to work sitting on chairs, you better not do so much anal sex because it's going to hurt afterwards. That's that's kind of like it. So anal sex is definitely not so good. But the thing with like anal sex is that since it kind of like uh, provokes your root chakra, it makes you stand like a lot. So it grounds your crown chakra for girls that are into that, or even like guys that are into that. It's not advised to do so much. Anal sex is not that advised. Like it's kind of like not so good for your root chakra. So that's why you have the heart chakra. Licking, kissing, and all that, sucking. So you better get comfortable with that because sex, you just end having it. It's not very like good for for the root chakra, for your spine. If it gets too big, it's hard to sit long hours and it's not so good. And there you kind of like have it, your sense of self and your balance is also in like the very first chakra, your sense of self and balance. And like personality, strength of personality. Now one's personality can like maybe when you were like younger, your personality was much expressed, and then as you grow, maybe it's kind of like toned down, silent, and you don't express that much of yourself, but it is still there, like somewhat hidden, like so it's just like that. And when actually people rise their kundalini or their chakras, they actually regain some of their lost personal memories, which is so good. Like you could remember like the things that you had like previously forgotten, that you were like doing, that you were very like into. Like I remember when like raising my chakras, I would have memories of me, my childhood, what the things that I used to do, that I used to like, and all that. It felt just good, like. And this is kind of like in connection with different chakras, and they like they store memories also. Like if when you were like little, someone used to like hug you and do stuff like that, meaning like that memory is kind of like stored in your like heart chakra. And as your like kundalini kind of like rises there, and when the heart chakra is kind of like opening up, those memories may come to you again. Or like memories of like fighting, if it's like your third like third chakra, you can also have them like. And like that. So the root chakra is pretty important, and like actually the root chakra is kind of like the foundation. It's the first house, the pyramid, like erected, going up. The spine is going up. On the negative end, you have the inverted pyramid. What does the inverted pyramid means? This is kind of like when like you've become pretty much like degenerated, like you into very like dark sexual behaviors, and that's very bad, because the energies, like you're doing the reverse of like rising your chakras. Now instead of like grounding the personality, your sense of I am, to becoming stronger, you're doing the opposite, and you kind of like going down into like the lower like very dark and like animalistic like side of humanity. And that's kind of like can be very scary and very like that. But if if you if you if you want to get a better uh, better sense of the I am of your root chakra, I advise like training, working with all the chakras, like balancing them, doing your work. Of course, hard work is always rewarded. Like hard work is always rewarded. So just remember that and do what you gotta do. Like always do your best, always stick up, always show up, always be there to say I love you, I care about you. Just stick out there, like be there for others even when they don't stick up for you. Just you put that out, like, and even when they don't stick up for you, the angels heard you. Like e- everything you do is always rewarded. Like hard work is always rewarded, so do not panic when you're like putting in effort and feeling like what's happening now. Like I don't know where this is going, where everything is going, and feeling like panic. No, no, actually grounding in one's personality, doing one's work, striving for the self, being out there on the lookout for the self, tending to the self, taking care of oneself, and actually sitting, like, writing, meditating, watching TV, enjoying quality family time. Very important. Not sitting in your room all the time, joining sometimes with your family 1 2 hour, like, but also like sitting in general, like taking the times to sit and actually be comfortable on your ass. It's good. It's good. So actually working towards like weight, like, holding like good body like shape. Taking care of your body is also a good thing to do, like, because all the chakra works like attributes to your sense of self, and that makes your root chakra stronger, that makes your core stronger and harder to crack. And of course, you you just get stronger and stronger, like, and anal sex is kind of like advice against. It's not so good because it weakens those muscles there on your ass, and it's kind of like not so good. But you have the heart chakra, don't forget to kiss, to hug, to touch, and do all those stuff, and actually just talk, enjoy, entertain each other, and running and all that. Like running also is one thing. Running, but mainly sitting. Running you can also do run fast, bam 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 bam, helps your root chakra feel a little bit better. But your root chakra is just you, like the seat of the self, and like you could be resonating high with like the fifth chakra. So your root chakra, your sense of self is very much like in the self chakra, and that's kind of like how your energies are like rising and are like mend, like mend. If you're mending the sixth chakra, then you become more like that person who like interprets like the physical reality through the lens of the sixth chakra. And if you like resonate a lot with like the second chakra, you interpret it like the physical reality more to the lens of the second chakra, and so forth and so forth. And depending on what you like, you would like have affinity for certain chakras, but you always have like good affinity with every chakras. Like if you just work hard and like all striving towards being like, a complete universal like human being, and not just being content with family identity or national identity. Like the root chakra, one thing to do with the root chakra is always searching for the self, always questioning why. Why is this like this? Like why? That's a good thing to do for the root chakra. It strengthens your like sense of self, to know why and seeking the why of things, and it makes you even more grounded, because the more knowledge you acquire, the more at ease you feel, the more your personality is stronger, the more like your sense of self is, and no one can like come and tell you no, you don't know this, and make you feel like small when you're seeking, when you're like evolving, seeking your knowledge, doing all that. So the root chakra is important to keep good, to keep good and enjoying that. And of course, um, harnessing one's energy so that you have them like rising up, and not just like wastefulness is to be avoided. Wasting just and being like, I don't care, just sleeping too much is not so advised. Productivity is good, and that kind of like strengthens your sense of self, your root chakra. And as you evolve, like your root chakra gets stronger, and you get to know your galactic origins, which stars you resonate with, your like all those stuff, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun, because you are a mythical being, and you are a creature of legend, and you have but one quest: to discover who you are. Who you are, and your whole life should be dedicated towards that end, who you are. And you should always have time for the self before the collective. That's very important, because you cannot serve anyone if you're not in touch with yourself, and you cannot serve anyone properly from a place of hurt. So you should always tend to the self first before you even think about others. The self before others. That's a good thing to do. And that'll be it, like for your root chakra. Enjoy sitting, like training to sit, and actually making sure that you have decent amount of sleep. Like, if you cannot sleep early at night, watch when you're the most tired, and then sleep that time. Like, sleep is kind of like good, so making sure you have your sleep, making sure you doing your work, making sure you're tending to your personality, making sure you're loving the stuff you love, making sure you're loving the people you love, and doing all those things that makes you you, and actually tending to oneself and one's identity and one's sense of self. Anything that contributes to the self, anything that brings you confidence, joy, and happiness. So, tending to those things is important for the root chakra. It strengthens you, it makes you manlier if you're a man, it makes you prettier if you're a girl, and even manlier if you're a girl, and prettier if you're a man. Like, tend to your heart and to your root chakra, to your core. Like, do not ignore the self, do not self criticize, do not self insult, like, I'm ugly, I'm this, it's not good. Like, enjoy, love the self, always be your best friend, and that's going to strengthen your root chakra. And actually respect, like demand respect, demand respect for the self. Like, don't let people come and trample over you when you're actually seeking for yourself, doing your best. Actually demand your rights, like your rights, your entitlements. And be entitled, be be there, be not shy, but be out there, be out there and express yourself, express yourself, seek knowledge for yourself, educate yourself, and always strive towards, like, the cultivation of your energies and having them going up. And there are many ways to cultivate them, and you always have something to learn. Like every day is beautiful when you are grounded, when you're doing what you're supposed to do, when you're setting your goals and strengthening your personality, pursuing your ambitions, not giving up on them, not letting people tell you what to do, but actually listening and listening to people, and discussing topics and seeking the truth for yourself, and then discarding things and accepting truth as you progress is also very important. So you should not be stuck like in one set of like beliefs just because it was like handed to you by someone, or just because you're terrified. That's not good. You should like express the self and give the self the freedom it deserves, and give life the shot it deserves. And always do not be fearful of life, because I know one thing that can like hurt the like root chakra, your sense of identity. Even in cases when you're near death, you should always keep to the self. You should always be strong in yourself. Don't be like, I'm just this. Don't trash talk yourself. Always keep the self alive, because the self is your effort. It is what your whole life has been about, what this whole journey has been about. So love the self and uplift the self, and always hold the self with high honors and respect. And so with all the other beings. So do not let anyone, even when they threaten you, like don't look down on yourself. No, no, keep the self strong, because though that's your root chakra, that's your foundation. And everything you do, all the skills you acquire, like adds to that. And it is important to keep your roots strong, and keep going out there like the rider on its horse with your sword, and going there telling your truth, and with your roots set on the ground, on the stars, and going out there in the world exploring as the hunter you are, or as the star being you are, as the God man, God woman you are on earth. So own your godliness, and own your sense of self, own your roots, because that's you. And don't be like shamed if like you, if like because sometimes people's like sense of identity perhaps can be shattered after like wars, catastrophes, stuff like that. Don't shatter, don't panic. Always uplift the self, always maintain your roots, always what you believe in, and seek for yourself and take in for the self. Don't let anyone silence you. Always seek for the self. Better die with your roots intact than die having failed them. That's what the root chakra is all about. So love the self and be ready to die for the self, because you are worth it all. Love thyself, and that'll be it for your root chakra video.